My name is Remco Zwinkels and I'm a professor of finance at VU Amsterdam, and I am also the program director of the Master of Finance.
My name is Norman Sieger. I'm associate professor at the Master of Finance program at the VU Amsterdam.
The reason why I'm personally fascinated by this topic, by finance, is that it's super versatile and broad. Now, on the one hand, it's quite technical, right? I use math and statistics on a daily basis, but at the same time, the quantitative aspect is only a tool. It's only a tool to try to understand people. So we try to understand how and why people make certain economic decisions.
So finance is everywhere. Understanding finance and people who understand finance will always be needed. So whether you run a non-profit company, a small-sized company or a big company, you will always need people who understand financial principles and know how to fund and run a company. And also, when you're interested in investing in financial markets, then this program is also for you. You will learn how those markets interact and how they behave and how you can invest in such markets.
So this one-year program is organized in 6 periods. Now, in the first 2 periods, before Christmas, you'll take 4 mandatory courses. So after the Christmas holidays in January, you'll start specializing. So that means that only 40% of the program is set and 60% of the program is flexible. So you can design your own program basically in what you're interested in. So to give a couple of examples, you could specialize in investments, you can specialize in corporate finance, you can specialize in institutional finance, and now also a new specialization in real estate finance. So altogether, lots of flexibility to really cater the program to your own preferences. This full-time program is quite demanding, right? So we are always looking for ambitious students with a real passion and drive for finance. Right? So usually we see in the program students with a background from economics or business, but also students with a more technical background like econometrics or even math, with a special interest in finance and economics. Each course takes 6 weeks, so you have 6 weeks of lectures and tutorials. Then you'll have 1 study week, followed by 1 exam week. What would a typical week look like? Well, you'll have lectures, you'll have tutorials, and you'll work with your group mates on cases. So, for example, I teach asset pricing myself, and in my course, you'll be the asset management team of a fund. Right? So you'll be managing a virtual portfolio of money, and it's actually a game. Right? So you're competing against each other to see who of you is able to make the highest return. So just as an asset management job would look like in real life.
One particular event which is really fantastic for me is if I see how students are growing. So when we start a course, I tell them, this is the structure and this is what I want you to do. This is the best way, from my experience, how you should deal with the material and how you should prepare for the exams and how you should learn the material. And when I then see that students actually follow that advice and I see how they grow over the 6 weeks, 7 weeks of the course, and by the end are really confident in mastering the knowledge and the material, that gives me really goosebumps, actually. That makes me really happy. And that's absolutely fantastic to see.
The Master of Finance tries to prepare you as best as we can for the job market. We are very much aware of the fact that 1 year is very short. A master year will fly by before you know it. So that's why at the start of the year, it's already very important to start thinking about the end of the year. What will you do after your master program and how will you find a job? Now, we will help you with that. So we offer a set of workshops. Right, so we try to prepare you, for example, in writing the letter, in setting up your resume, but also in preparing for the interview or the assessment. What are the typical jobs that our graduates end up with? Now, as you might expect, most of our students end up in the financial industry. So in the Netherlands, you can think of the big banks, right? ABN AMRO, Rabobank, ING, or at large insurance companies like Aegon or Nationale Nederlanden. And of course, well, the big four consultants. There's always a group of highly motivated students that ends up in London or New York. And of course, there's also always a group of students that goes for the more societal perspective, and they end up at, for example, the central bank or at one of the ministries. This top-rated program really lies close to my heart. I see it as my personal goal to provide students the best possible education within 1 year, but also to make sure that you enjoy the journey. Now, the program has been rated first for 5 years on end by the International Student Survey. So students within the Netherlands fill out the survey and they consistently point out that the Master of Finance at VU is the best finance program in the country.
Why studying at the VU Amsterdam? Since Amsterdam is such an international city, there are also a lot of possibilities for internships or getting in touch with companies who actually hire on an international level. So there are a lot of opportunities also after you study here to actually start off your career in finance here in Amsterdam.
Now, if you want to know more, click further after this video. And I hope to see you personally in September.